Hi folks, this is Rob Weil from Canada. I am starting the second installment. Actually, it's the first one because yesterday was the test run. I wanted to share a little bit about myself. Now, I come from a Baptist background in the sense of growing up in the Emmanuel Baptist Church. Now, what was taught to me was that God was an angry God. And I ran away from that situation when I was about 16 or 17 years old. I ran away from that situation. I basically ran away from God. I said, if I'm going to hell like they told me I was going to do, well, then I might as well run away and go to hell with the rest of my friends. So pretty much I spent several years up to the age of 33 just out in the world and didn't care. Done drugs, done everything I could possibly do to experience life outside of religion. Now, I grew up in this foster home and it was very abusive. More so mentally and emotionally than physical, but I got it all. I got everything that was dealt out to me by a religious woman who thought that she could do this to me and destroy who I was and who I was chosen to be. So when I finally did come back to God, which was at age 33, God dragged me back. I didn't want anything to do with God or religion or anything, or even talk about it to anyone, right? I wanted to avoid it at all costs. But God has graced me. God has hit me hard. I spent 3 months in a mental institution thinking I was completely nuts. But God literally showed me his love and brought his love to me. From that point on, for the next year, I think, when God first got me and I came out of the mental hospital, God basically took me down the road of church and religion again. Through my brother, my oldest brother, said I needed church again and I needed to go to church and I needed to do all these things, right, in religion. Nothing was working. I couldn't stand it. It was driving me insane that I'm back into this. You know, a hateful God being taught from the pulpit. So one day I was in my little apartment and I cried out to God. I literally cried out to God and said, if I know you're real, please show yourself. I need to know who you are. I need to know that you love me unconditionally without having to do anything, right? And to give me um, your blessing in grace. I left that apartment that day and I went to a local Christian bookstore. Now here I am walking around the aisle looking for end time prophecy stuff because I was into that at that point. Next thing you know, this homeless guy came around the corner and he basically wanted to go for coffee and he was interested that I was interested in the end time stuff. So we went out and I bought him a coffee, went to the local library. And he started to explain a few things to me about the scriptures. He said, well, the truth is in there. And if you look and you research and you study, you will find that there is a true God who loves you and will not condemn you and will not take you and put you in hell to suffer eternal torment if you do something wrong or you screw up in any way. So we sat there for a while and we chatted and he gave me a concordant version. The very first one that I ever had was given to me by this homeless guy. So I started to study, I started to look at different things in the scriptures because he was telling me that God was going to save all. That intrigued me because it's like, wow, if he can save me, he can save anybody. So of course I'm looking and I'm researching for the next couple of days. He got a hold of me again and he said that he had a little group that met at Arby's every week. So I decided to go. I just thought, well, yes, I want to hear this. So it's not just from him, I want to hear from other people because I didn't want to be involved in a cult as well. or some kind of following and the same kind of stuff coming out of it. The ritualistic stuff I didn't want. So I went anyway and met a few other brothers in Christ. Now they told me flat out that yes, God will save all, and they showed me in the scriptures. They showed me in the Concordant version where God says this. Now I was running with it at that point. I said, yes, I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. This is a real message. This is not a message of doom and gloom and eternal torment. This is a message of love and grace, that God would reconcile his universe back to himself. So I continued to study from that point. It got even more and more and more better in the sense of finding who God really was. Not the God of religion, not the God of hate and anger. I found a God of love, and this is what came out of it. I kept on studying, and for the next 5 years, I wanted to get everything I could possibly get on the truth, especially after finding the Concordant version and finding the Concordant publishing concern. It was amazing, and that was in the late 90s when I started researching, and the internet just came out. So what I did is that I went to the local library and I started printing off material. Now I came across this site called God's Truth for Today, ran by Richard Condon from New Jersey. And I saw this gentleman who was writing a newsletter, and he had stuff posted on there of Martin Zender stuff. Now he started out with the Idle Babble Illustrated. So I started reading that, and the cartoons and the stuff relating to God's truth and everything was beautiful. I just couldn't believe it. And ultimately, when it really hit me hard, was in the shower. After reading the Idle Babbler Illustrated, I just broke down. I broke down. I was laughing. I was crying. I was like a kid in a candy store. Couldn't believe it was too good to be true. But then I said, wow, this is right. This is the truth. What he is giving from the scriptures, giving God's love through the scriptures. So yes, I started researching more and more and more. And to this day, I am still studying and loving God and delving into the truth. Now, I've never done a YouTube video before or had a YouTube channel. So you'll have to bear with me if I'm stuttering, if I'm going different places. I'm trying to do this. So it's a matter of perfection, and God will perfect it. I need to bring this message out. And I also wanted to give you an idea of who I am. I live in Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, with my wife and son. I've been married to my wife for 16 years. I have a beautiful boy. He's 14 years old. And I am so thankful that God has blessed me with so much. And now I need to distribute it and get it out there. I will be going into the scriptures, of course, and bringing you what God has blessed me with. And I'll continue to do that every day on a daily basis. I am just overwhelmed by God's love. I just recently attended a conference in Indianapolis where 3 great speakers that God has given truth through spoke. It was Martin Zender, Waylon Dabbs, and Alan Hess. And there was powerful messages and beautiful messages. And I'm so thankful that God has graced them to give them messages. I met many brothers and sisters down there. It was a great time. I love these meetings. I love these conferences, and I'm so thankful God has graced me to go. So I just kind of want to end the show in this note. I hope whoever listens to this, and I hope whoever is given truth through this site, will be blessed. And I'm so thankful that God has graced me with this YouTube channel. Grace and peace to all of you.